Hi everyone, thank you for joining me for another video, which is going to be February favorites and fails. I'm very excited to share with you my very top items from February and also warn you against some not so favorites. If you're new here, I'm Jody. Thank you so much for joining me for this video. I hope you're going to enjoy it, and if so, then hit the thumbs up while you're watching and subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see me again. Now without any further delay, let's go ahead and get into it. My video's a little bit late, but you know, better late than never. These goodies are definitely worth waiting for. If you've been watching my videos, these are going to come as no surprise to you. They're items that I have tried continuously throughout the month. I feel super confident recommending them to you. They're items I've tried a variety of ways, because what I'm not going to do is come over here, try one thing one time, and then put it in a favorites video. If I was going to do that, I might have put in today's concealer, because my under eyes are looking pretty good today, and as you all know, that is my trouble area. So starting with my first favorite, which is going to be the Adept Cosmetics Minka palette. Now this is a remastered palette, but it's a palette that was remastered and expanded upon. They changed the packaging considerably, because usually when indie brands, they revamp an existing palette, I just feel like, okay, did you not get it right the first time? I almost feel like it's a gimmick to make us buy the same thing twice. But in this case, I think it was significantly different to warrant another palette. I did share this palette on my channel in one of my videos in February, and I really enjoy it. But what I enjoy about this palette are the shimmer shades. The mattes are really great, which is a really nice improvement in their matte formula in general. It's very blendable. It applies really well. It's very easy to work with. It's buildable. But my only complaint with the mattes in the palette is that they have a tendency to look the same. Every look that I've created using exclusively this palette always has a very purpley crease and outer V kind of shade. But what I really love this palette for, besides the new packaging, which I think is top-notch, very Natasha Denona-esque, are the shimmers. These are very special shimmer shades. I'm going to swatch a couple of them for you. These are the shades Joshua, Emma, and Maya. Beautiful colors. Those are the shades that I'm going to recommend the palette for. Now, I won't say that it's going to be an everyday friendly kind of palette, because every time you use those shimmers, you're going to get a very impactful look. But I think for special occasions, or those times when you just want to be a little extra glam, then these are going to be perfect. I think it was a really great addition to their brand. It's slightly different than their usual shimmer formula, but it is also an improvement over the Minka palette, the original Minka palette, which was a little bit thicker, a little bit chunkier in terms of those shimmers. These are a lot more smooth. It was a pricey palette, but one that I really enjoyed. And I'm mostly using it as a pairing palette because sometimes I just want to do a neutral crease. And with the mattes that I have here, I just haven't been able to achieve that. The next item that I wanted to share is the Charlotte Tilbury Beautifying Eye Trends palette. And this one is in the shade Super Neutral. It is the first one that I used on my channel, and so it's the one that I feel comfortable putting in my favorites video. I have 5 of them. At this point, I have used 4 of the 5, and I have to say all of them are incredibly consistent in terms of the matte formula. It's very creamy and buildable, so it doesn't start super pigmented right away, but you can definitely build it up to what you see in the pan. If you're picking up these palettes, you're definitely picking them up for the more special shades. They have a variety of finishes, so if you're checking them out, make sure to look and see which ones have a higher number of those special shades. The mattes are great, don't get me wrong. They also have something that they call, this one doesn't have it, but there's one that is a satin. The satin shades are fine, but honestly, they're nothing to write home about. The finishes that you want are the Diamond Dimensions and the Crystal Chromes. Oh my gosh, they're beautiful. The Diamond Dimension shades are more of topper shades, and then your Crystal Chromes have a lot more base pigment to them. So here you have 2 of those shadows. This one is going to be a Crystal Chrome, and that one a Diamond Dimension. You can see it's much more shimmery. Maybe we can swatch those here. This almost looks like that Patrick Ta duo, the one that's called Still at the Club. It's beautiful, right? Look at the shimmer. It's insane. I love it so much. If you're interested in looking at any of the other ones, I did share a short of Diamond Dimension, and in my video prior to this one, I was using the Emerald Effect palette. Gorgeous. Pick your favorite color story. You cannot go wrong. I can say that kind of in advance now that I've tried the other ones. I'm only missing one, and I think I'm just gonna pick it up. They're so gorgeous. That's it for my eyeshadow favorites. I do have a bronzer favorite, which is something that I've been using in my recent videos as well. And it's this one from Lancome. It is the Skin Transforming Bronzer, and I have mine in the shade number 2 Light. I think that this is a bronzer range that has a very nice color selection. I'm about a light medium, a neutral skin tone, and I'm wearing shade number 2 Light. I believe that there are 4 shades that are deeper than this one and 1 that is lighter. Take a look at that really pretty packaging. It's kind of got like a tortoiseshell vibe. It's a matte bronzer, but it's got like a velvety finish. It's very creamy. It's super soft to the touch. Very easy to pick up on a brush also. You can barely see it on my finger. There you go. But you can build it up on the skin beautifully. You can pick it up very, very easily. Blends out beautifully, and it always looks natural. So I apply it over an unset base, and I don't find that it catches or that it patches in any particular area. I just think it's a beautiful formula, really easy to work with. I love the way that it looks because it allows me the versatility of getting a bronzer that kind of adapts with whatever foundation finish I'm working with. So for example, if I have a very dewy look like I have today, the bronzer has a tendency to look more luminous, but if I want a more velvety matte finish, I can also achieve that. It's just really versatile, really, really nice. Definitely recommend checking that one out. Next is a mascara that I discovered during a trying new makeup. This is the Refi mascara. It is the Lash Sculpt mascara, and I have mine in the shade black. It actually has a special name, the shade black, but I think it only comes in black. And what really got me about this mascara is this wand. I have never seen a wand like this one ever. Check that out. It's crazy. It does take a little bit of a learning curve. When you're applying this mascara, you want to kind of take the curvature of the wand right towards your eye and then lift your lashes upward as you're applying. So beautiful. It layers really well. And while you're not going to get intense volume like I have today, what you will get with this mascara is lifting, separation, and lengthening. I really love the look of the mascara. Today I have it layered with the Rare Beauty one because I wanted a little bit more volume. However, when I'm not wearing a lot of eyeshadow, which is most days, I wear, one single shadow and call it a day. This looks so great because it gives my eyes definition, but my lashes look very clean and separated, no clumpiness with the Refi mascara. I just have to say it does take a little bit of practice working with the wand. So that's kind of a warning, but so far I've really, really enjoyed it. The next makeup item that I wanted to share is more of a rediscovered favorite. And this is the Lisa Eldridge Velveteen Liquid Lipstick. I have mine in the shade Affair. However, I do have one more shade, and the formula is super consistent across the shades. So this one, as I mentioned, is the shade Affair, which is kind of a nude shade. This is what your applicator looks like. It's very nice, very easy to get a very clean line. If you choose not to wear a lip liner, I prefer to wear a lip liner. I like to prevent any bleeding on my lips, even though I have to say I don't experience that with this. Here's a swatch of what the shade looks like. It goes on kind of like a moussey texture, but it isn't too thick, it isn't too heavy, and it does always kind of retain a tiny bit of flexibility, a tiny bit of movement, but it's not sticky. Once it sets, it feels very light on the lips and you don't get that horrible, horrible dryness that traditional liquid lipsticks give you. I think it's a really nice formula, and I really love that you can just apply a really light layer, get full opacity and long-lasting color. These are really nice. So if you enjoy liquid lipsticks but hate the dryness, this is a really nice option. Like I said, it gives you a little play too, so you can press your lips together. They're not going to be cracking. You can't really move the product around anymore, but there's a little bit of give, a tiny bit of give, which makes it super wearable, super comfortable, and her colors are beautiful. I have 2 more favorites to share with you, starting with the Sonia G, the Voyage set. This is such an incredible brush set. I share them with you when I discussed all the items that I bought in January. These arrived to me right at the tail end of January, and so I was getting to know them and playing with them in February. I've been using them almost nonstop. They are freshly washed. They just got a bath so that they look really nice for the video. Here's what those brushes look like. These are stunning, stunning brushes. I truly can't say enough about them. I love them all. I've been using the smaller brush for eyeshadow. The larger brush I've been using for bronzer. I've also been using it for finishing powder. And this kind of teardrop shape is actually really versatile because if you put just a light amount of pressure, you can get some definition. But the minute that you press down on the bristles, you have a more rounded shape and you can get a beautiful diffused look. Whether you are doing finishing powder, bronzer, you could even do blush with this. It's just stunning and it is so incredibly soft on the skin. I've also been enjoying this brush for under eye setting. I've also used it for highlighter. It's a really nice multi-purpose brush, and because it's smaller, it's really great if you really want precision. It's a beautiful story the way this collaboration between Sonia G and Shikuhodo came about. I'll leave a link to Sonia G's blog post if you'd like to read more about it. I really recommend it. It's a beautiful story and it really gives you a new appreciation besides the beauty and functionality of the brushes themselves. They just have a really nice story behind them. Absolute favorites. And lastly, also freshly washed, you have the Wayne Goss, the Collector's Edition. This was a very pricey set, but I'm not one bit sorry. I've used all of the brushes now. Luckily, they're available individually, so if you were only interested in picking up a few, then you're definitely able to do that. The two larger brushes are both absolute winners. I've used this one for bronzer, for blush, for powder, very versatile shape. I've used this one for contour. I've used it for highlighting. I've used it to set under eye concealer. They're super versatile because of that blend of squirrel hair and goat. There's a variety of different hair types in the brushes. I did 2 very detailed videos about them, and so I encourage you to check that out if you want to see more about them. The face brushes, like I said, are wonderful. And I have to pick out a couple of favorites here. The number 13, I love for picking up shimmer shadows, for inner corner highlighting, under the brow. Precision work, it's great. It's a small brush. It picks up products so well. And that's the same for this number 10 brush. I've been using this brush almost exclusively on my recent videos to pack shimmer on the lid because it picks it up beautifully, lays it down beautifully, and minimizes fallout. Such a great brush. The blending brush is also really good. This is the number 6 brush. When I first got it, it was more pointed, and I was worried that I wasn't going to enjoy it as much because of my hooded eyes. I need something that's going to be a little bit more domed to give me the look that I want. But after washing it a few times, it really bloomed beautifully. If you wanted to get that pointed look again, you could always use a brush shaper when you're drying it and it will get that point again, but I like to have it fully bloomed. It's more functional for my personal eye shape. I did also want to give a special shout out to number 4, which at first I was like, I don't think I'm going to use that brush that much, but I've actually been using it quite a bit. I use it to blend out eyeshadow base. I use it to do under eye concealer, both powder as well as the application of the concealer itself. For an all over eyeshadow, wonderful, wonderful brush. It has a little bit of firmness, but yet it's still very soft. So it gives you a beautiful application for those one eyeshadow looks if you just want a matte shadow all over the lid and you're ready to go. Great brush for that. So those are just my honorable mentions, but honestly, if there's a shape in here that appeals to you, I do not think you will be disappointed if you pick that one up. So we had a lot of wins, and unfortunately, we do have a couple of fails as well. The first one will come to you as no surprise if you watched that January haul video. It is the YSL Couture Mini Clutch palette in the shade number 125. Here's what that palette looks like, and honestly, it's kind of a pinky, mauvey, peachy color story. You have 3 matte shades and then you have 1 topper shade. I mentioned in my haul video that this was just not a very smart purchase for me. I don't enjoy pink eyeshadow on my eyes, yet here I am wearing pink eyeshadow. But this one, it's very nice. The quality is great. I just don't think it's my color story. And then that shimmer is incredibly subtle. Very, very subtle. When you apply it over any of the mattes, essentially all you're doing is transforming the matte to maybe a satin. It's not going to give you a look like I have today. So if you're more interested in the look that I have today, then pick up one of the Charlotte Tilbury quads. I created the look I'm wearing today with the pink one. And like I said, I'm not one for pink eyeshadow, but check out this look. I think it's so pretty. I love the way it looks. I love the way it looks. She could never, she could never get what I have going on my eyes today. And so if you do like a more dramatic look, it's nothing over the top. I mean, it's a very light pink eyeshadow, but if you really want to see that shimmer, if you really want those glitters, then go for the Charlotte Tilbury. And you know what? It's even cheaper. Those are $60. This is like almost 80, maybe 75. Just this was a mistake. And you know, I like the line. I have another one that I enjoy more than this one. It's the one in shade Stora Dolls. It's more neutral. I can get more use out of it. It's more preferred color story for me personally. I got drawn in by the packaging, to be honest, and the fact that it was limited edition. But here we are. Lesson learned. My last fail is an eyelash curler. This is the Shu Uemura eyelash curler, and this is like a cult classic favorite eyelash curler. You always would see it in magazines. You would see makeup artists saying that this was the absolute best one. If you watch The Devil Wears Prada, Gisele Bündchen's character mentions the Shu Uemura eyelash curlers as something that Andy picks up and she's like, what is this? But oh, it didn't work out for me. And you know, with the eyelash curlers, it's all about the shape. It's all about the curvature of the actual tool. And unfortunately for me, this has way too much curvature for my eyes. For comparison, I have the one by Surratt here, and hopefully you can see. I'm gonna put them right up to the camera. Okay, look at the curvature. You see that? The Shu Uemura one is just way more curved. And so I feel like I can't get all my lashes with that. My eyes are just not that curvy. So if you have more flat eyes like me, the Surratt lash curler is one that you might potentially want to look into. But the Shu Uemura would be more fitting to people who have a lot of curvature to their eyes. Me, unfortunately, like I can still get it to work. I still think it's fine, but I can't get all my lashes in one go. And I can get a better result with something like the Surratt. I do have the one from Shiseido on my wish list. I've heard great things about that one as well, because sometimes, you know, your makeup application is only as good as the tools you use. And so I'm checking out a variety of eyelash curlers. It does remind me of the movie The Devil Wears Prada, which is a life favorite movie forever and ever and ever. I love that movie so much. It never fails to make me laugh, cheer me up. It's just a really nice feel-good movie. Definitely a favorite, so we can finish on a positive note. That's everything that I have for today's video. I know that I don't share so many products, but like I said, the ones that I'm going to share are going to be ones that I feel very, very confident about and that I've tried for a significant amount of time so that I can actually speak intelligently about the products and let you know which ones are special and why. Stay tuned for my February haul. That's going to be the next video that I will be sharing if you're curious to see all of the things I brought into my collection during the month of February. It's part of my monitoring my beauty purchases project that I'm doing this year. That's everything for today's video. Thank you so much for joining me for another video. I hope you did enjoy it. And if so, please don't forget to give it a big thumbs up for me. It really helps my channel. Feel free to leave me a comment and share what's one of your favorite discoveries of the month of February, whether it's something that you rediscovered in your collection or if it was something new that you brought into your collection. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell if you'd like to be notified of all my future uploads. I do upload every single week. Thank you so much for spending a few minutes of your day with me. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing you again very, very soon on my next one. Bye-bye.